You're tuned in to the hottest sports analysis of the week with your hosts Ron Dolbeck and Chris Roberts. And now, here's the first round.
You're in YouTube world live. You're in the first round with Ron Dolbeck here in our St. Jude studios. You guys couldn't have heard this, but right before the show, just now, Ray told Chris, all right, everybody shut up. So funny. I'm the only one finding this funny at this point, right, Chris? Chris Roberts here in the St. Jude studios, my co-host to the left. And Chris, as I ask you at the top of every show, what's going on, buddy? How are you doing?
Man, it's schoolwork. I'm tired.
I keep telling you, drop out.
Man, I can't drop out. I'm too far gone, man.
I've been doing the international modeling. I'm huge in Kazakhstan. I put out a calendar every single year. It helps raise money for underage, unemployed kids in Kazakhstan. I am huge over there.
Hey, man.
We're going to get those underage kids back to work.
We're going to get them back to work. Huh?
We're going to get them back to work, and it's going to be great. Listen, we're going to make underage kids working great again, and it's going to be incredible. We're going to get those kids working in Kazakhstan, America, and China. China is going to be huge. Trust me, and everybody knows it. I love that saying when he says that. I'm starting to get his little key phrases down.
I know, right?
If you see somebody in the crowd, he gets the finger, this finger, or this. Listen, this means there's an important fact coming out right now. Trust me. And then the phrase is, and everybody knows it.
I know, because it's bigly, right?
The Packers are not going to win another game this year, and everybody knows it.
Really?
They're huge on Mars, but not in Green Bay. They're going down. So, in the world, what's going on with you? We actually have to get to a point where we talk sports tonight, but I like to interject life, something real tonight.
Nothing but, man, but just working on this project about empowering young women through the power of Nike. That's what
There is nothing wrong with that.
Hey, man, that's what I'm doing right now, is empowering young women through the power of Nike.
That's great stuff. So, it is a sports show.
Right.
He's going to cue the music right now because we're going to talk about the biggest things going on in the world of sports. Let's get it started with Seattle wide receiver Josh Gordon suspended indefinitely by the NFL, breaks the drug protocol once again. This is the 5th time. He's only played 5 games with Seattle. He missed the entire 2015-2016 season. This guy is more bipolar than Oprah Winfrey's weight. And I really feel bad because I wish, we talked about it at the beginning of the show, Chris, I wish this guy could get it on straight. He has had so many chances. He is like the Steve Howe of the NFL. I really feel bad for him. Cleveland Kardashians, my favorite team to bag on, but I have so much legitimacy behind bagging on them. It is not just random bagging. These guys are terrible. They come off a loss at Arizona, which never should have happened. I'm going to get into why they have fallen apart this year. If you haven't seen our video about the Cleveland Kardashians, go into our YouTube channel and check it out in our archive videos. Funny stuff. College football news. Army, Navy 31-7. Navy gets it done, breaking a 3-game losing streak to Army. The real story in the game is senior quarterback Malcolm Perry. 29 rushes for 304 yards. Here's the real fact if you want to be at the bar and win some money off your friends. Navy had 1 pass for 1 yard and 1 touchdown. How about that? They still win the game impressively 31-7. There's other stories going on with this that Chris and I will touch on later on, but that is my favorite game of the year. Tradition, presidents, snow, cold weather, service to our country, all that stuff. It's awesome. I love it. It's the best game of the year. Other college football news. Bama defensive standouts Terrell Lewis and Tavon Diggs are going to sit out the January 1st Citrus Bowl game against Michigan. I think this sucks. I mean, it's just like so #me too. How about just #me? Because that's all these guys are thinking about. You're going to get injured in the last game of the season and not play with all your brothers. And Chris and I can go back and forth about this. I don't know what his position is. I know what mine is. This is just junk. It started about 3 years ago, and I don't like it. Joe Burrow obviously wins the Heisman. 91% of all the votes are going to him. Jalen Hurts comes in second, which I thought was a little shocking. I had Justin Fields at second. He comes in third, fourth. Chase Young, good job for him. NBA news. You want to talk about going from the penthouse down to the gutter? Golden State last night loses 100-79. That's not even the real story. The story of that game last night was the fact that Sacramento, who beat them, had 29 turnovers and still won by 21 points. Woo! How the mighty have fallen. Gone. Mavs lose Luka Doncic for 2 weeks, sprained ankle. I'm not going to be too concerned about that over the whole season. I think they're still going to be there in the end. New Orleans Pelicans doing great right now without Zion Williams. They're only on a 12-game losing streak. Chris and I can talk about what they need underneath the Christmas tree. MMA news. Last week I told you guys you had to check out MMA coming from T-Mobile Arena Saturday night in Las Vegas. The best fight of the night. Kamaru Usman. I knew this was going to be a tight fight going up against Colby Covington. Breaks his jaw in the 5th round. He won't be talking anymore. He did a lot of smack talking about Kamaru Usman, and he ended up getting his jaw broke. That's a way to shut somebody up. Incredibly entertaining fight. 2 skilled fighters. Usman just had more ammunition in the gun when it came down to it. Alexander Volkanovski stops Max Holloway in a very impressive fight. That belt now goes to him and goes back to Australia. I see a rematch coming with this one. Amanda Nunes, unanimous decision in her fight. She is absolutely one of the top 3 best MMA fighters in the world right now, men or women. She is the brand new Ronda Rousey 2.0. I'm loving it. MLB news. Babe Ruth's 500 home run bat goes up for auction in California this last weekend. Fetched $1 million. I love that because I'm a memorabilia guy. I got a couple questions from you guys on the email address about the memorabilia. I'll be getting to those later in the show. Madison Bumgarner gets a deal with Arizona. New team, new deal. 5 years, $85 million. That's a lot of money for a guy who's going to be over 33 years old for most of that contract. I'm not sure I'm buying that one. Rangers acquire 2-time Cy Young winner Corey Kluber in a trade from the Indians. He's 34 again. At 33 years old, that's the thing that I don't like. It starts scaring me out. Chris's favorite team, the New York Yankees, who have not been relevant for about 10 years, thank God. We're going to talk about their starting lineup and pitching. We're starting to move a little bit closer and a little more slowly into Major League Baseball. I'm not sure about their starting lineup. All the Yankee fans I talk to think that they could just go out and start sizing their rings for the World Championship now because they got Garrett Cole. I don't think it's that easy. Big games in NFL coming up this weekend. Bills go to Gillette. Brady against Cincinnati last weekend goes for 158 yards, and somehow they still score 34 points. I can't figure it out. That's why their helmet is not up here anymore. They're my favorite team, but when you're not producing, out you go. Cowboys have to go to Philly to play at the Link. This is a must-win for both teams. Whoever wins this game probably will win the division. The other team will be out of the playoffs. I hope the Eagles win. Fly, Eagles, fly. Packers going on the road to Minnesota. Another big game we're going to talk about. And then the absolute biggest game in the NFL this year, this weekend, star-studded, have to watch. Cincinnati at 1-13 is going on the road to Miami, who has 3 wins this season. I can't wait for this one. And having said that, I'm again catching my voice like I do every week. There's a lot going on in sports, Chris. This is great.
Yeah, it is, especially for it to be no college football. I mean, it's
college football is just like war. You got to give it a chance. In just a couple more days, we're going to get into all the mediocre bowl games that are unwatchable, where you just want to stick a fork in your eyes.
I know, but then it's going to be over, man.
Well, positivity, man. What are you throwing out the negative waves for? Positive. We have the best college football playoff lineup since the playoffs started, I think.
Yeah, I think so as well.
Yeah, and we're gonna get if LSU wins, we're gonna get a hell of a game out of 2 of these teams.
Yeah.
It's gonna be if LSU wins, and here's the thing: it doesn't even matter if LSU wins, because if Oklahoma wins, what kind of story is that gonna be?
That's huge.
And then you're gonna have to give them a chance against either Clemson or Ohio State.
Right.
I gotta tell you this. I'm not really big into betting at all. I'm not a big betting guy. As my nose grows. I got Clemson plus 6 points on a teaser.
Really?
I got Clemson plus 6 on a teaser.
+6. Oh, okay.
I know. I love it. And then I parlayed it with New England minus 4.5 at Cincinnati, so that covered for me.
Yeah.
Oh, NFL. Let's talk NFL. Josh Gordon. I mean, it's such an angering story. It just makes you angry inside because you want the best for the guy. And at the other half, it's like, I don't even know where to put this. He gets busted for PEDs violations again. This happened with Cleveland. This happened at New England. Now he gets another chance with another great organization at Seattle. And he just can't stay away from the nasty stuff. I don't even know what to do with this.
I think it was a situation. This was one of these things out of frustration. I think with Josh Gordon, the fact that he was coming back, he had this big long letter that he wrote, everybody that he's coming back, he's not going to make the same mistakes, and the fact that he couldn't produce because of these nagging injuries that kept coming along. I think it was something that was done out of frustration. And he didn't think it all the way through. It was something that was done out of emotion, and it's unfortunate that that's the case.
There had to be a breaking point, I think, just in general with addicts, where he's sitting down and he's had 5 games with Seattle, and he's sitting there with the joint or whatever it is that he's about to do, and I'm just trying to get into his head, like, how much mental resistance is there where he's thinking, I can't do this? I shouldn't be doing this? Is it a lack of counseling? Like, what's going in his head where you have chance after chance after chance and you keep making galactically terrible decisions?
Well, I mean, from his other mistakes, I think it was like he had it was like cocaine issues and other issues like that. It was other illicit drugs. This was more PEDs. This is something that was done to me. From just looking at it, just reading the story, it's something that was done out of frustration because he wasn't able to perform like he usually performs, and so I think this is something that, like, again, this was an emotional decision to try to get back on the field again because he hasn't been able to play football like he used to.
Yeah, I'm like, inside, seriously, on a human level, I'm really sad for this guy. We talked about it when he got released by the Patriots. Again, another class organization that gave him a chance. And, he's literally, he's done, I think, in the NFL. If he's not done because of the multiple suspensions, then he's going to be done because I can't see who's going to pick him up, unless it's going to be a Cincinnati just taking a shot on him or some bottom dweller team that, I mean, and I can't even see that happening. Can you? Is this it for him?
I think eventually this is it. I mean, because eventually everybody runs out of chances. And I think with Josh Gordon, he's to a point where you can't really trust him to make the right decision off the field.
No.
And that's, as the old saying goes, the best ability is the availability. So you have to be available for your team. And so if you keep making these decisions, I mean, as a team, I wouldn't want to take that shot on you. Yeah,
professionally, that's got to be the mantra moving forward. But on a human level, don't you just feel, I feel sad for him as a human being, like he can't get it straight. And maybe he's gotten off the illicit stuff and now this is just a PED mistake that he made. I don't know. The NFL didn't come out and say exactly what he was banned for. It just said he violated the constructs of the contract with the players contract with the players union in the NFL. But I feel bad for him as a human being because you want people to succeed.
Yeah.
That's the kind of guys you and I are. We want the best for people. When you see people going down this hole that he's gone down, I don't know. It really hurts my heart, and it's not good for the league. But more importantly, as a human being, I feel bad for him.
Right. I just don't think I can just pray for that he gets it together before it's too late, and that even if he doesn't. Even if he's not able to go back to the league, he's able to use this as something to help somebody else down the road, eventually. But hopefully, you have to get yourself clean first. You have to get yourself taken care of first.
Yeah, hopefully he can get his priorities straight. Also in the NFL, earlier in the year, I went on a rant about my second favorite team to hate, the Cleveland Kardashians.
Right.
Somehow they managed to lose this week on the road to Arizona, and it wasn't even as close as the score would indicate. They lose 38-24, but like I said, it wasn't even that close. They need to fire Freddie Kitchens right now. Am I out of my mind?
No, Freddie Kitchens should have been fired probably about 2 or 3 weeks ago.
How about like 1 season ago, before they hired him? They should have just said, we're going to hire you. Nope, fired right there. You had a 1-second career with Cleveland. Let's go over some notes about what has actually happened, because if I'm going to talk about feeling bad for other human beings, right now I feel bad for the Cleveland fans who kind of had their chest out a little because they thought they were going to be awesome last year. They thought they were going to be awesome this year. They're coming off all the LeBron stuff and, we got to Cleveland believe and all that. And now it's just like, well, you want to talk about going from the penthouse to the gutter. Cleveland sports, the Indians have nothing to cheer about. The Cleveland Cavaliers are a tire fire, absolutely. And this train wreck that they put in the dog pound.
It literally is a dog pound.
It's beyond. It's like a flea-infested cancer ward. It's disgusting. I would be so mad if I was their fans. I think they've got to fire him right now. First of all, they're 6-8. They have a negative 32 points differential. So they've given up 32 more points than they've scored. This is coming with OBJ on the team, with Myles Garrett, with Jarvis Landry, with Kareem Hunt, with the second leading rusher in the NFL, Nick Chubb. All this talent, and I haven't even said Baker Mayfield because he's not even that good of a quarterback. He just is. He's still in his second year. We're talking about potential.
Right.
Potential. Even with all that talent, fourth in the league in penalties caused. Fourth. Third in the league in lost turnovers. Out of all the teams in the NFL, they've turned it over. Only 2 teams have turned it over more. Who's number 1? Tampa Bay. The turnover magnet. Then Kitchens goes out this year after the whole Myles Garrett thing and wears a t-shirt in public that says the Steelers started the fight. You should be fired right there for that. They start out the season with a home opener loss by 30 points to Tennessee. You should be fired right there for that. Just for those things. Then Myles Garrett decides to rip Mason's helmet off, Mason Rudolph, the quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and use his head like a Pez dispenser and then go after him like his helmet is a battle axe. He could have killed the guy. Freddie Kitchens should have been fired at that point. On top of that, you lose on the road in a game that's not even close to Arizona that you should have won. You lose your season opener by 30 to Tennessee in a game that you should have won. You lose to Pittsburgh, whose quarterback is a duck calling champion and a third-string quarterback in the NFL, and they lost to Denver, which they never even should have lost. You have to win that game against Denver. Why is Freddie Kitchens still there, and why is he not fired at this point?
Because it's Cleveland, and that's what Cleveland does. Cleveland hasn't. I mean, when was the last time Cleveland had a good coach? Was it
when Bill Belichick was there?
And
honestly,
and how long ago has that been?
20 years,
exactly.
Over 20 years.
Exactly.
It's a culture of thinking, right?
Yeah.
I think it really comes down with Cleveland to a lack of culture of discipline. If you bring in some high school reject coach who is so unprofessional, wears stupid t-shirts, doesn't have any control of his team, doesn't have the respect of the players, can't get them to play disciplined ball, let alone winning ball. I mean, leading the league, Myles Garrett was leading the league in penalties before he got suspended. Look at all the turnovers that they've got at quarterback. It's just the most undisciplined team in the NFL. I can't even imagine who's the GM up there?
Jim Haslam.
No, he's not the GM.
Jim Haslett, I think his name is.
No. There's another. Who's the other GM?
The GM? No, I'm thinking about the owner.
Yeah,
no, I'm thinking about the owner. I can't think of the GM.
Ray Boom Boom, can you just Google that? Who's the GM for the Cleveland Browns? But anyway, it's totally escaping me now out of the 9 million statistics I have in my head. But both of them should be on the firing line, and Freddie Kitchens should just immediately be fired. John Dorsey.
There you go.
John Dorsey. I hate it when I know it here and it doesn't come out here. John Dorsey has got to go. I'm not even a Cleveland fan, and I'm upset about this. It's so ridiculous, the level of football that they're allowing to be on the field every single week.
Yeah, and I just, like you said, I think that Cleveland, when it comes down to Cleveland, they have to get someone in that's going to be tough, hard-nosed, straight discipline.
Yeah.
Tom Coughlin type of person.
Tom Coughlin?
Yeah.
You know what I'm smelling? Another retread. It's a Marty Schottenheimer, Norv Turner, something in those lines. Some guy that's been around, Wade Phillips, that's been around since dirt and Moses spread the Red Sea. It's some guy that's been here forever, and it's just going to be a retread.
It's going to be a retread, but I mean, they need to bring someone like that. Maybe Rivera from Carolina.
Ron Rivera,
bring him in to be the head coach. Somebody who's going.
He's got to come in and make a splash. I mean, OBJ's like, I don't even want to be on the team. And your number one offensive player.
That's fine. You don't want to be here. I'm trading you. I'm getting.
He'd be gone. Draft picks. It's not even that. It's the talking like that. It's not getting along with his offensive coordinator. It's the whole visor thing that at the beginning of the season. It's wearing a $250,000 watch during a game, and then it's like, oh yeah, I don't want to be here. I'd love to be on the Patriots. Really? They didn't learn their lesson from having AB. I don't need that headache. He's like a 13-year-old spoiled child that has more talent than Zeus, and I still don't want him, even though we don't have an offense. I don't want OBJ. He's a head case.
I think OBJ more than Antonio Brown could be coached. Antonio Brown is one of those. Antonio Brown is one of those guys who just cannot be coached whatsoever.
I don't know. You have more faith in OBJ than I do.
I think if you put OBJ in a situation like the Patriots, I believe he will fall. He's one of those players that will fall in line, and he will be. That guy will be able to take the top off of the defense.
When's he ever done that? That's the thing you got to ask yourself. You're saying that he can be coached and he'll turn it around, but he's never done that in his career.
But you have to look at the coaches that he had in New York. I mean,
okay.
And so, I mean, they have.
What makes you think in his character that all of a sudden just going to New England is going to turn it around? That's my question.
With Bill Belichick, I mean, you've seen this.
He'll get tired of him in 10 seconds.
You've seen him do it with Randy Moss,
right?
And we know,
right? Corey Dillon. There's a bunch of players.
So Bill Belichick has that history of doing it. And so when you look at Bill Belichick's history, and then you look at, I mean, because we know what type of wide receiver, a diva wide receiver Randy Moss was prior to New England.
Right.
So I believe
OBJ's not even getting targeted right now. He's a head case.
You want to know why?
Okay, so we can talk about Baker Mayfield as part of the problem. We can talk about play calling as a part of the problem.
Exactly.
That's fine.
And Freddie Kitchens is supposed to be a wide receivers coach. So why isn't this not working out?
I don't know, because OBJ's a part of it, and I don't want him on the Patriots. That's my vote. I don't want him there. Moving to college football news, Army goes up against Navy in my favorite tradition-packed game of the year. I love this game. The only thing I was thinking about this the other day. You got rivalries, you got awesome weather, you got the president usually showing up, and I don't mean just this president, any president. You got flyovers, you got pageantry, you got acknowledgement of our servicemen, and it's a rivalry game. You know the only thing you're not missing? You're not playing for anything. It's like the Iron Bowl, except the Iron Bowl, you'll get a 1 versus 3 once in a while, or somebody that's fighting for a playoff position. And in this game, the only thing you're missing is like we're playing for pride. But most of the time, one or both of these guys aren't in a bowl game, and neither of them are ranked. I mean, neither of these teams have been ranked in the top 10 since I was a fetus, which is about 22 years ago, by the way. Having said that, that's the only thing we're missing in this game. And this game, it's just awesome. Navy gets the win, 31-7. How about that statistic? Navy, 1 pass for 1 yard and 1 touchdown.
I've seen that before.
I mean, how do you lose 31-7 when you know all they're going to do is run, and their quarterback goes for over 300 yards rushing, no passes on 29 carries? Wow. What's the defensive coordinator at Army thinking? Like, hey, we better play prevent. I mean, what's going on?
Hey, it's just like on the battlefield. I'm bringing my tanks out there. Now you got to stop it.
I would have 11 in the box.
Well,
11. I would have 11 in the box.
But I'm scared that you might throw. That would be that one time that I have 11 in a box and you throw the ball right over the top. One
time in the game. Yeah, 1 pass, 1 yard, 1 touchdown. You know, I was looking up stuff. The senior quarterback for Navy, Malcolm Perry, we like to spotlight people that stand out in life, whether they're student athletes or not. And this is a guy that I wanted to take some time just to talk about. His whole family is awesome. Not only is he awesome, he's voted the team captain by everybody on the team. Right. Voted him team captain. That's a pretty big thing. He's only 5'9", first of all. Awesome quarterback. Elected team captain. Not only that, his parents both served in the Army in the 101st Airborne Division during the Gulf War. Both of his parents served. And he has they grew up in Germany for a small period of time. On top of beating Army, on top of going for 300 yards, on top of coming from a distinguished family that has given our country service, Guess what he's majoring in?
What?
Quantitative economics.
Oh,
This
wow.
isn't underwater basket weaving. This is like some serious stuff that I can't even pronounce.
Yeah.
Malcolm Perry, 2 thumbs up. We subscribe to you, man. Senior quarterback for Navy. Everything right about, I look at guys like this and I go, I like the direction our country could be going in with guys like this running it in positions of leadership. Let's get to the Alabama story. 2 of their top defensive standouts, Terrell Lewis and Tavon Diggs, make a decision that they're not going to play with the rest of their team, foregoing their eligibility for the Citrus Bowl January 1st against Michigan. They don't want to get hurt. They want to get ready for the NFL draft. I think this is 2 thumbs down. I think it sends the wrong message. I think it's a me. That's what they're thinking of. They're leaving their teammates and their brothers, the staff, the fans that want to show up to see them play. And they're not in the star positions, but that's not the point. The point is that you don't leave your teammates that you've been doing this for 3 years, 4 years, that are counting on you. The fan base is counting on you. I just think it's a Bush move, and I don't like it. What do you say, Chris?
I differ on that opinion simply because we've seen where players played those last games and have torn ACLs.
Insurance policy.
And you have insurance policies.
Insurance policy.
You can have an insurance policy. I mean, you had like I understand that, but you as a player, you've done what you needed to do. I mean, it's not to you that really I guess you can say it's irrelevant to them because it's like, look, our college careers really is over. So
it just seems
I'm just moving on. I mean, but it's like when you going into war. If you have somebody there that doesn't want to be there, it's gonna eventually affect those that are there. Who is playing, who is laying it down on the line.
Right.
So you don't want to have those people that's out there on the field playing gun shy. That's going to eventually affect the team. So if you don't want to be there, I mean, go ahead, sit out.
I think it sends the wrong message. Anytime college sports move more towards business, and I'm not a dummy. I know college sports is a business, but when it moves more towards business and less away from the purity of just being athletes, working together, team, all that stuff, playing for your school, playing for tradition, playing for, personal integrity. When it moves away from that into business making decisions, I don't like that. I don't think it's good for the fan base. I don't think it's good for the young kids that look up to these players. I just don't think I understand why they're doing it. That doesn't mean I condone or like that they're doing it. I still think you show up for one last game. And I think that the chances of them getting hurt is a freak thing. Is there a chance out there? Yeah. But is it outweighed by the fact that you want to finish off your senior season or your last game with your teammates that have fought with you in the trenches, play for the fans, play for the school that gave you, free dental care, free food, free lodging, free education? That's just my opinion on it. I understand why they're doing it, but I don't like it.
Well, I mean, it's like Cam Akers at Florida State. He's sitting out the game too. However, what he's doing for that game is he's still there at practice. He's helping the running backs, go through plays, let them know, okay, well, this is this. If I was playing, this is how I would do it. So he's still there helping out the team. He's just not playing in the game.
Yeah, I mean, we just talked about Army, Navy, and all the patriotism, and that's the great thing about America is that you can still have a different opinion than me, and that's what America's all about. You're still wrong. So, Joe Burrow wins the Heisman Trophy. Everybody knew that was going to happen. I had Justin Fields, too. 50 total combined touchdowns, rushing and passing, 1 interception, 3,500 total yards, and somehow Jalen Hurts passed him, who didn't even have stats comparable to his. I don't want to get into a huge thing about it, but I had Joe Burrow 1, Fields 2, Jalen Hurts 3, Chase Young 4, and I had Tua 5, and he ended up finishing, I think, 10th. And 5th was Jonathan Taylor, who I had number 1 at the beginning of the season. How did you see it? Did you have a problem with the voting?
I don't have a problem with the voting. We're basically looking at the statistics of Oklahoma's offense. When you're looking at the statistics of Oklahoma's offense, I mean, yeah, Jalen Hurts, he's rushed for over 1,000 yards, but statistically, as far as nationwide statistics, they ranked second in passing yards, only behind LSU. So, I mean, I really didn't have a problem with that.
Yeah, it's not a big thing where I'm going to write in and have some congressional hearings, which are going on right now. That's a whole other subject. I'm going to bite my tongue on that one and not talk about it. Yeah. Hashtag wasting time of Americans. I mean, we should be making this country greater and not fighting with each other, whether you're a Republican or Democrat, but that's a whole different thing. Anyway, I didn't have a big problem with it. I just thought that Fields should have been too, but that is how it is. NBA news, Golden State yesterday, they not only they lose by 21, but they lose by 21 after Sacramento has 29 turnovers in one game. It is absolutely amazing. Have you ever seen in your life a team go from the absolute pinnacle? They were the best team last year. Toronto is the champions, but that does not mean they were the best team. When you look at all the injuries that Golden State had, they were the best team in the NBA last season, and now they're absolutely, hands down, the worst team. Have you ever seen that? In my 40 years of in my 22 years on this planet of watching sports, I've never seen this happen where a team was at the top of their game, and the very next season, they are down with the gutter rats. Terrible.
Yeah, that reminds me of the Marlins every time they win the.
And then it's fire sale.
Then it's fire sale. They're right back down in the gutter. That's exactly what.
That's a great analogy.
When I look at that Golden State team, that's what it reminds me of. So, I don't know what Steve Kerr is going to do. Once Steph Curry comes back. Hopefully he can get Clay back. Maybe.
No, there's no way they're making the playoffs, is there?
I don't see it.
No way. They're not. First of all, Clay's not even going to be back until way past the halfway point in the season. I think they're too smart to rush him when they've got nothing to play for. Yeah. And I think that they use their load management card on Steph this year. And maybe he plays at home because they're in a new arena and people want to come and see him play. Right. But I do the load management on Steph Curry. I bring back Clay if I even have to. Jesus has to come down and command me to bring him back. I just bring him back super easy and let him kind of get back into the swing of things the last month of the year, knowing that we have no chance to make the playoffs. Even if we do, which is a far cry from reality, we're going to be number one, first round will get bounced. Nothing to play for. Start rebuilding for next year. Start looking at free agency options. Evaluate the young talent you have now and just scrap this year. But it's just amazing how absolutely well-oiled machine as they were last year, that this year, they can't even get out of their own way. 29 turnovers, and they still lose by 21. I mean, it's just blowing my mind how bad they are.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, they definitely needed to have some type of youth strategy coming up behind Steph. I mean, maybe he could have played a little bit more of those bench players last year to give him a little bit more experience. But this year, I don't know what to say about Golden State.
They're bad.
It reminds me of this clip I saw this year. I mean, I know you're not a big Avengers fan, but for those who are
Avengers,
yes,
I'm gonna pretend like you didn't say that. You can get your man card taken away.
You can't.
Come on. Marvel Comics.
Ray Boom Boom. Have you seen Avengers?
Wait, why are you going to Ray Boom Boom when he's a Tesla fan?
Because Ray Boom Boom, he can understand.
Boom Boom spends his off time at Comic-Con conventions dressed up like a stormtrooper. Why are you going to him?
Say Ray Boom Boom, producer. So, do you remember when Thanos had the soul for the soul? The Soul Stone?
What the hell are you talking about?
Listen, because I'm going to break it down for you.
You got 30 seconds.
Okay. As Golden State disintegrated into the Soul Stone, the San Francisco 49ers came up.
I'm not even supposed to be talking to you at this point. Do you realize that?
Yes.
I mean, it's getting hard for me to admit to people that I know you.
Yes.
Comments like this.
Yes. So as Golden State disintegrated. Yep. So as Golden State is disintegrated, San Francisco 49ers came up. So, I mean, hey, it's win-lose for San Francisco. One way or the other. Okay,
so now that we're done with our Dungeons and Dragons talk and Raymond's back there playing with his 167-sided dice. Goblins aren't real and Lord of the Rings and all that. I can't even start.
Hey, Lord of the Rings is a great movie, man.
Okay, so that's your second strike tonight. He's on double secret man card probation and mic mute for the rest of the show. Do you even realize, I can't, man. Honestly, have you ever even... I expect more of you. Up the game.
Hey, man,
That's it. Up the game now.
I love sports, but
I do too. Sports is real. You live in a fantasy goblin world where you have wizards that look like drunk Santas.
Hey, believe me, I wouldn't have liked it either until I went to see the movie with a young lady who.
You gave a theater money to go see movies like that. It's not real.
I went with a young lady. I didn't think I would like the movie.
Did you like the girl? At least tell me the girl worked out better than the movie.
I mean, we were friends. I can't, man.
I can't. I get so many questions in the email about you every week. I can't defend you anymore.
Right, I can't kiss and tell, man.
You did. You already did. You went and said you saw the movie. Let's get some shout-outs to people that have joined the First Round family this week. We want to thank you guys for all your support here in the St. Jude studios. You can reach us or follow us on Twitter at the First Round 1. I try and put out interesting stuff and we try and build a great show. Or if you have questions or comments about the show and you want to be a part of the show here live every Wednesday and Sunday, even though we're doing a Monday show because Ray Boom Boom was doing something with a test live, no idea. You can reach us here at the First Round RD at gmail.com. Some of the people that have, I really appreciate all the supporters because out in the Twitterverse,
yeah.
Man, there's a lot of hate out there, and there's a lot of political hate. There's a lot of people hate, a lot of Georgia. I got one Georgia guy. He is so myopic. Like, there's no helping this guy. I told him he needs to break the Prozacs in half tomorrow. Every day he's got the helmet that he wears every day. It's like way too tight. He thinks they're winning the national championship every week. Having said that, there's a lot of good Georgia fans. I told you, I'm in this little Georgia thing.
Right.
99% of them are awesome. The Barney Life at Country Dog. He's one of the cool guys out there. I'm just going to talk about some of the people that I've reached out to. CJ joined us and gave us a subscription tonight. Awesome job. He's at Come On Buddy. Really? Isn't that a cool handle for Twitter? Come On Buddy. Really?
Yeah.
That's so cool. I love that one. At K Lenny. Another good one. Reached out to Bobby. He followed us on Twitter this week at RC Lessig, Lessig. Keo. Father of 2 kids. I was a single dad. I raised 3 kids by myself. I love the dads out there. At Keo H88 and at Kitty Dog PhD 1980. A lot of positive people out there, like spreading the positivity. And then you get, one bad apple in there and you got to crush the life out of them. And just before they die, you throw their soul on the ground and watch them squirm around. And then you just give them mercy. Mercy's better than judgment. So, good shout-outs to people joining the First Round family, either on Twitter or reaching us at the First Round RD at gmail.com and being a part of the show here. We appreciate all of the support. Major League Baseball news, the baseball bat that Babe Ruth used to hit his 500th home run went up for auction and fetched $1 million. We were talking about the Zion card that went for $100,000 last week. Yeah, $1 million. And you know what? I should bring this one down. I'm gonna bring the Jesse Owens back down here again because we like to highlight great athletes and I've loved collecting memorabilia. All my stuff is PSA DNA certified. I've been collecting it for like 40 years now, and I've kind of gotten off of it a little bit because there's so much fraud out there. So then I started collecting like actually personalized owned items from people. But I've kind of just gone off it because it's gotten so big now. I started collecting stuff in 1983. But think about that, $1 million for a bat.
Yeah.
That's insane, isn't it?
Yeah, especially if you got the money to pay for it.
I know. Man, $1 million, I'm on a rocking chair in a third world country right now with 2 Swedish chicks bringing me drinks. I'm telling you, $1 million?
Yeah.
Okay, other news. Madison Bumgarner signs a 5-year deal, goes to Arizona, $85 million. Age, too much money. They lost Greinke. I understand that, but I don't know how you're rebuilding there. They don't have Goldschmidt anymore. I think that's a stretch. The Rangers go out and sign 2-time Cy Young winner Corey Kluber in a trade. Part of the trade was Delino DeShields. I didn't even know that guy was in the league anymore. I thought he was in like a Social Security line somewhere in Philly. Apparently, he's still in the league. The only thing I don't like about the Kluber deal for Texas is he's 34.
Yeah.
And making a lot of money. So that's my concern with that one. But let's get to your favorite team. The Yankees are in desperation mode. You'll agree with me there?
Yes.
They're throwing all the chips in on this year. They signed Garrett Cole to a $200+ million 9-year deal. I think that deal's too long. But here's my concern with the Yankees for all the Yankee fans out there. You know, a lot of these Yankee fans are living in the 50s still, man. I mean, you guys haven't been relevant. Let's just have an honest conversation for 10 years. 10 years now, you guys haven't been relevant. So you've got your starting lineup. How concerned are you with this lineup? You've got Paxton, who's aging. He's got a 3.82 ERA. Garrett Cole is a frontline starter, lockdown ace. I like that. Servino, to me, is bipolar. He's either going to be lights out, like last year. Beginning of the year, lights out. End of the year, nobody around.
Right.
Bipolar pitcher. I never know what I'm getting. Tanaka reminds me of the old Warhorse. He's got a 4.45 ERA. He has a high strikeout count, but he's just like, he's good for 12 wins a year. His production value is going down, not up. He's trending the wrong way. More of his future is in the, his best years are in the rearview mirror. And what I see out of the window in front of me, I'm not really excited about. And then you've got J.A. Happ bringing up the rear. Again, 37 years old, 4.91 ERA last year. They're trying to trade him, so how does he feel? I mean, even if he stays with the club, it's like a dead man walking. Aroldis Chapman, I still think is more than effective, but he's not the lights-out guy that you bring in, and he's not the Mariano Rivera that he was 2 or 3 years ago, that level. No. And then you've got Betances in the bullpen, who's not even listed on the team roster or depth chart right now. He's a free agent, and they're not even talking to him. They have not even opened up talks. In fact, they've come out and said, we're trying to go after another pitcher in the National League, Josh Hader from Milwaukee. And they've made this public news. So Betances is probably on his way out. J.A. Happ is probably on his way out. How excited are you about your starting lineup as far as the pitching goes, your pitching rotation next year? Because all the Yankee fans I talk to are like, oh, we're going to get sized for rings. And here comes our mascot. Hop him up.
Come here, Manny. Come here, Manny. Manny, come here.
No, he's not excited about the Yankees either. He just wants to sit there and milk it. So, how excited are you? Garrett Cole signing doesn't answer all the questions, does it?
No, it doesn't answer all the questions. Again, that was my big thing with the Yankees last year is they needed more pitching. They needed,
and they
more starter pitchers, and so they didn't make a move.
Right.
Coming out to the signing period last year, they got Garrett Cole, which was a good move.
Oh, huge!
Which is great.
I just don't like the length of it. He's 29 now, and he signed a 9-year deal. So I'm looking at 35, 36, 37, and 38. You're not getting Garrett Cole at the level he's at now in those 4 years. So you got 4 or 5 good years where he's going to be a frontline starter. But what about the other guy? I mean, how much confidence do you have in Paxton, Servino, Tanaka, and Happ? Happ they're trying to trade. Tanaka's a broken-down warhorse. Servino's bipolar. And Paxton has an ERA of 3.82, and I don't know what I'm getting out of him.
When you look at that pitching staff, they're trying to, I guess, use them up as much as they possibly can.
They got to go get somebody else.
But they have to get someone else. That's why, they were trying to get Strasburg as well.
Right. I know. Let that go. They didn't get him.
Yeah.
I'm thinking if I'm a Yankee fan, you got to make a midseason trade and pick up some kind of frontline starter. And the other thing, I'm really looking at Brian Cashman, who's been on top of his game for like 15 years. Then the last 10 years, I'm starting to look at it. Brett Gardner, we talked about it last week. He had 108 strikeouts with 52 walks. He batted .251. He was making $7 million last year, and they gave him a $5 million raise. What the heck? Am I out of my mind?
Yeah.
Why are we making that move? I hate the Yankees more than life itself. I would rather jump into a swimming pool that has been drained out and filled up with double-edged brand new razor blades naked. I would rather dive into that than to see the Yankees ever win anything. Yeah. But I'm looking at this and I'm going, I don't see the math here. Why are you giving him a raise? And where are we going with the pitching staff? Pitching wins.
Yeah, personally, if you couldn't get Strasburg, Baumgartner was another one that was out there that if it was me as a GM, I would have, took a swing at him for maybe a 3 or 4 year contract, to bring him into that rotation as well.
For who?
From Madison Bumgarner.
Oh, yeah.
I took like a 3 or 4 year contract.
I know, but he's not going to want to sign that at this point of his career. He wants to get locked up with guaranteed money for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah. So we would have been able to pay the money. Look, we're about to pay Strasburg, arm and a leg too. I mean, to get him and
right. But
Garrett
if you
Cole
got
in,
Strasburg, you're not picking up Cole. It was one or the other, not both.
Right.
They're not putting out $500 million. No way.
Man.
No way. Their luxury tax would have been through the. They're not even dumb enough to do that. That's crazy.
The evil empire, man.
Huh?
The evil empire, as they're called.
You know what? I can go back
man.
over all the big signings that they did. The big signing they gave to Clemens at the end of his career that didn't pan out. Yeah. Kevin Brown, they got him away when he had all the great years that the Padres came over. Gave him $81 million at the time. Was a lot of money. Didn't work out. I'm not a big fan of long-term contracts with big money if you're not in your prime. I want to get you at 24, 25. Then we can start talking about those kind of deals. When you're up around 29, like, Garrett Cole, no, I'm not doing the long-term deals like that. No, what'd you want to say?
I mean, that's, again, that's why, with Garrett Cole bringing in somebody like I said, like Madison Bumgarner for like maybe 3 or 4 years, a 3 or 4 year contract, to kind of bolster that rotation. I mean,
I don't even know how much ammunition Baumgartner's got in the tank anymore either. But enough about baseball. I want to give a little teaser about our Wednesday show. You do not want to miss our Wednesday show. We're going to do our Bowl Bonanza blowout. We're going through every single game, the stinky games that are, where they're playing for the old bucket of spit. We'll blaze through those. Against the spread, Chris and I will give all of our picks. And, of course, the bigger games that I'm really excited about, the New Year's Day 6 games, the playoffs, and some of the lesser games on the 28th through the 1st. There's a couple of them that I'm excited about. We're going to go through all of those this Wednesday. Plus, we have a huge teaser special. You guys do not want to miss it. Tell your friends on Wednesday night at 7 o'clock. We're going to be right back here live in the first round. It's going to be an awesome show. I just wanted to plug that. Thank you to all our supporters, and we really appreciate it. Chris, what else is going on in the world of sports that piqued your interest today?
What's going on in the world of sports? We have Joe Burrow. We know Joe Burrow. He won the Heisman Trophy. However, what Joe Burrow, during his speech, he actually talked about, his community, where he came from. And Joe Burrow basically, coming from the Athens County, Ohio, which is southeastern Ohio, which is not one of the more richer counties in Ohio, and he gave a speech talking about how sometimes people will go home and be hungry afterwards, and this speech actually touched someone, and someone started a GoFundMe page, and from there they had a goal of $250,000. As of Sunday evening, they've raised over $180,000 to go to the food pantry for the Athens County food pantry to help those in need.
I love stories like that, man.
So, yeah, man.
Those are stories that I matriculate towards. I love that kind of stuff. It was so awesome. I put something out on Twitter tonight about a guy who was a mailman for, I think, 30-something years. And then on his retirement day, wasn't even expecting it. The whole community came together. And you can go, like I said, you can reach us on Twitter at the first round 1 on Twitter. This was a great story, but I'm still learning about Twitter and making my way around. But throughout the day, a lot of stuff's political, but there's every couple hours or so somebody puts out some story like that, or the mailman story. They're just awesome stories, and it regenerates your faith in human beings, and humankind, the human spirit, the human heart. Caring about others, positivity, giving back, selflessness. That's what, I just love stories like that. Anything else for us?
Yeah, so, Ron, what team do you think, NBA team, was the greatest franchise of the decade for in the NBA? What team would you think is the greatest franchise?
The last 10 years?
Last 10 years.
It's got to be Golden State. They were locked down dynasty for years and years and years. I mean, they've fallen off this year, but, if you look at the whole decade as a whole, I don't know, who would you say? But if you don't pick Golden State, who are you going to put up there?
I'm with you. And it was Golden State. Golden State was being the franchise of the decade. So, congratulations to Golden State. I hope you guys get it together, though.
Who voted on that?
Oh, gosh, that was...
Get your credibility straight. That music can mean only one thing. We are going to thank our support staff. First of all, I want to thank you guys, all our supporters out there on Twitter, reaching us here with questions and comments on the email. Wednesday's show is going to be huge, but I want to thank our support staff, the man on the board, Ray Boom Boom Mancini, my co-host, Chris Roberts, El Presidente, Chet 40 for all of us here in the first round. We will be right back here Wednesday, 7 p.m. It's going to be the greatest show this year. Trust me. We're going to break down everything going on in the world of sports. All the bowl games against the spread. I'm going to have my teaser special. There'll be 2 of them. I went 13-1 against the spread. And we have a start of the show that is going to be amazing. That's all I'm going to say. You don't want to miss it. Thank you for participating. Thank you for showing up tonight here in the St. Jude studios. Wednesday, we'll be right back here live. Until then, take care of yourselves, everybody.